Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight with your award-winning host, Dale Davidson. Dale interviews fascinating guests from top-ranked celebrities to people just like you who have an important story to tell. For more than 15 years, Dale has broadcast every week from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. He finds the people who really make Las Vegas a one-of-a-kind city and lets the world know just what's happening in this remarkable town. You'll discover why 50 million people visit the entertainment capital of the world every year. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Las Vegas Tonight.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. You're going to be so very, very glad you tuned in today. We have a very special guest. Her name is Deborah Costello. She is Executive Director of First Choice Pregnancy Services right here in Las Vegas. She has an amazing story, and you're really going to be glad you're here to hear it. Thanks for joining us, Deborah.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. You are a pioneer. Let me tell you why. You started this place, right? Mm-hmm. And it was, I want to say 2004, am I right?
Yep.
And you were a baby.
I was.
And it's been remarkable what's happened with the center. Tell us a little bit about your journey to Las Vegas. First of all, where'd you grow up?
Well, I was born in St. Joseph, Missouri, which is about 45 minutes north of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
But when I was 5 years old, my family moved to East LA.
Wow.
And so I was in Los Angeles from the age of 5 to almost 15, and then we moved back to Missouri.
Wow.
And then in 2004, Olaf, who's the founder of First Choice,
Right.
was calling across the United States looking for somebody to help him start this pregnancy center.
Right.
And he stumbled upon Kansas City, and several pregnancy centers in Kansas City told him, oh, there's a girl here in town that's doing exactly what you're trying to do.
Really?
And so he got a hold of me. He said he'd talked to already about 40 pregnancy centers across the U.S. when he stumbled upon me.
Wow.
And I had a little pregnancy center across the street from an abortion clinic in Kansas City. And he was really trying to kind of open a First Choice next to abortion clinic here in Las Vegas.
Right.
So he flew me out here to have a meeting with him, and I didn't know at the time that he'd created the PowerPoint specifically for me. And he showed me that Vegas, Nevada particularly, had the highest abortion rate west of the Mississippi, but it ranked last in pregnancy care centers. There was only 2 of them here.
Wow.
So I told him, I'll come and give you 2 years and help you get that started.
And then
and then I met my husband,
Oh.
and I got married, and I have 4 kids. And my husband works for Metro.
He's a police officer. Yeah,
And he
yeah.
said, do you mind if I apply for this job and we use this as our 5-year stepping stone to move to Colorado? Because I didn't want to stay here.
Yeah.
And I said, sure. And he didn't hold up to his end of the 5-year bargain. So we have 4 kids. I homeschooled them for the first 6 years.
Wow.
And then Kathleen Miller, who's Living Grace.
Yeah, I know Kathleen. She's been on the show, in fact.
She was on the board at First Choice.
Right.
And she called me in 2015 and said, hey, would you join the board? And I said, no, I'm not interested. And Olaf, who I helped start First Choice with, called me and twisted my arm a little, and so I joined the board. And then 2001, they asked me to step in for 8 weeks as the executive director, and it's been the longest 8 weeks of my life. May is going to be 5 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Let's talk a little bit more about Olaf, because he refuses to take credit for this and always has. And I was involved, early on, and I was always really admired his stick-to-itiveness and his vision, and just the fact that he was such a modest man. But he conceived this. Tell us a little bit about Olaf and why we all owe him.
Yeah, Olaf and Kathy,
Their last name?
Vancouver.
Yeah.
They definitely are some very principled people when it comes to the issue of life.
Yeah.
Olaf came to know the Lord after he was married to his wife, and prior to that wasn't really pro-life.
Right.
And so when he came to know the Lord, he became pro-life, and the Lord just really put the preborn on his heart. And him and his wife funded different things in the pro-life movement,
Right.
ultrasound machines.
Right.
And God ended up leading him to open First Choice. He wanted to have a pregnancy center that was 100% committed to defending the preborn from conception through birth,
Right.
specifically when it comes to abortifacients. They had determined that they were going to educate people on contraceptives and how they're abortive.
Right.
You know, a lot of people will steer clear of that, and they'll say, refer them back to their pastor or their doctor.
Right.
Well, a lot of pastors don't know anything about that, and a lot of doctors are prescribing it. So where are you going to really get the fair shake on it?
Right.
And
Right.
so First Choice really set the foundation of standing on truth and defending life from conception onward. And so they were very instrumental in the foundation that was laid in First Choice being really solid.
Yeah. Before we talk specifically about the record, the amazing record that First Choice has, for those who don't understand what a crisis pregnancy center does, could you explain the steps and why you've been so successful at saving babies?
So a pregnancy resource center, generally a lot of them offer, well, we do. We offer free pregnancy tests, free ultrasounds, limited material services, baby diapers, some little baby clothes,
Right.
baby blankets. We also offer abortion pill reversal, which is something that has started to become a little more known in the last couple of years. We've been
Right.
doing it since 2017.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But 70% of abortions in Nevada are done by an abortion pill. So if you take the first pill, which blocks the progesterone for the baby and the pregnancy to advance forward, and you regret it, and you call First Choice, about 65% of the time we're successful, and our doctor will prescribe you a protocol that's progesterone, a prenatal, and folic acid, and that will overpower what the pill is doing to block it, and it will help the baby survive more
Okay.
often than not.
Okay. And we should emphasize that this center is a medical center, and you have a doctor on staff and you have nurses as well.
Yeah, we have a medical director, a doctor that oversees everything. We have nurses and sonographers that are licensed medical
Yeah.
professionals that do all the medical work.
That's important.
And then we also offer post-abortion counseling.
Right.
A lot of referrals to different agencies in our city that can provide the resources to a lot of these young ladies come in thinking abortion is their only option because they don't know there's things to help them. And so oftentimes if you can tell them, hey, there's this free prenatal care, or we can help you with a pregnancy verification form that you can take to the Medicaid office, and they can help you set up all the different things you need to succeed. It gives them a little different perspective on their situation, a little hope,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
oftentimes can steer them in a different direction.
Oh, that's really nice. So the way it has worked until recently, when the abortion clinic moved out, you were on a private street, which is kind of key. That was important. The abortion clinic was at the end of the cul-de-sac. This is all close to where we're sitting right now. And you had a prominent sign that said First Choice Pregnancy Services on it. And women and men who accompanied the ladies would see that and drive in thinking, this is where I get an abortion. Right?
Yeah, so
That was
we
part of
opened
it.
on cul-de-sac, and
Yeah.
in order to get to the abortion facility, you had to pass us.
Right.
And so a lot of times God would redirect their steps into us first because we were first on the little block.
Yeah.
And when they were there, we would get usually 2 to 3 of their appointments a day.
Yeah.
That would walk in saying they were seeking an abortion. We would tell them we didn't provide abortions, but that we could offer them a free ultrasound to see if that was even something that they needed to
Right. And a
consider.
pregnancy test because they might not be pregnant.
Yeah,
which is one thing that
one
happens.
in four pregnancies ends naturally. So you don't get free ultrasounds and pregnancy tests from abortion clinics. They charge you. They'll actually send them to us sometimes to get that and to get
you serious?
Yeah, to get the gestational ages of their babies, because they would charge you $80 to $100 for the ultrasound, and they would deduct that from your abortion. And so we'd tell them, you have nothing to lose with us. We're going to provide you a free service. We're going to let you see for yourself how far along you are.
Right.
Free of charge. We don't benefit off of any choice you make. We want you to make a choice being fully informed.
Yeah.
And 81% of the time, if you come into First Choice seeking abortion, you choose life.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
We've had 47,000 babies saved in
Congratulations.
21 years. Yeah, God is good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And it's a world record, I think, isn't it? Haven't you saved more babies than any other center, at least in the country?
I don't know. I don't know what the highest number is of anybody in the center in the U.S. I know for being a single center, that's a very high number.
Yeah, that's astonishing.
Yeah. We've filled the Golden Knights Stadium twice. We're working on the Raiders Stadium right now.
Congratulations, congratulations. And then what I want to do is actually go through the process with you when a young lady walks in, and I say young because most are. They come in and you engage them right away, and the people in there are super friendly and super nice, and you talk to them. That's the major thing, right? Tell us a little bit about what you say, what your people, what the volunteers, and many people are volunteers who work here, right? What do they say to the women?
Well, I can give you a story from last week.
Sure.
We had a mother who brought in her 15-year-old daughter that ended up being 5 months pregnant. They thought she was 6 months pregnant, and they had called out to California and had scheduled an abortion for that Friday because the abortion clinic here locally told her that she was beyond the point of what they could legally perform. So in Nevada, you can have an abortion up to 23 weeks and 6 days. But it's a 2 to 3 day procedure, and so she was going to be beyond that time period. So her mother brought her in to get an ultrasound. Actually, an abortion clinic in town had told her to come get the free ultrasound with us.
Wow.
And the girl just said she really didn't want to do that, but that her mom told her she needed to.
Right.
And she didn't want to disappoint her mom. And so they went through the whole consultation session, and Eve is our operations director, and God has just really gifted her with her number one in when you take the online tests of what your gift is communication.
Wow, that's
she's just really gifted in that. And so she said, you know, just like you're seeking your mom's approval, your baby is seeking your approval, and it wants to live. And the girl just really moved her. And so they went back to ultrasound, and they saw a 5-month little baby, and they brought the mother back and they talked to her. Well, come to find out, that mother had had an abortion herself.
Oh.
And so this was something that she had her daughter when she was young, a teenager, and now she had a teenage child having a baby. And so they saw that baby on the ultrasound, and God used that baby and the sound of that baby's heartbeat to start moving in that grandmother's heart. Oh. And so she walked out, and then a few minutes later, the young lady came out of ultrasound, and we have cameras, and so we were watching them walk out into the parking lot, and the mother just embraced her and held her. And so when they had come in, the mother was very icy and standoffish.
Right.
And just really determined that her daughter was going to do this.
Right.
And so they got to watch the transformation take place as they exited with that lady seeing her grandbaby. It wasn't just, there's a baby in there, I don't know what it looks like. It became a lot more realistic when she saw that baby moving around. It was very active when they did that. And so we also give these little heartbeats that we will copy the sound of the baby's heart.
Events,
And we let them take that with them to motivate and inspire them to protect and defend that heart. The heart is in your hand at this point to determine whether or not it's going to continue to beat or you're going to end it. Right. And so she took the little heartbeat with her. We give out scripture quilts to these ladies just to wrap them in the love of God when they're seeking abortion. So she took all the stuff with her. And so I haven't heard yet if they've talked to her again. So people can be praying for her.
That's right.
But it appeared that the grandmother of the baby had shifted in her position.
Yes. And that happens again and again and again. 47,000 times.
Yeah, I think the highest number we've served of women in one day is 31 women.
31 women.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I always say
Congratulations.
if the walls at First Choice could speak, you would hear 80,000 different stories.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's truly amazing. Wow. We need to take a real brief break. When we come back, I want to delve more into this, and I want to talk a little bit more about how people can join in and help you guys. We'll be back with Deborah Costello right after this. The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynne Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynne Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynne Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you. Well, welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson, and my very special guest, Deborah Costello of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas, has been regaling us with the many successes of this crisis pregnancy center in saving babies. Only 47,000 so far. Astonishing. Just
We're on a
astonishing.
mission to double that.
Are you?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Tell me, since the abortion clinic moved from down the street across town, has it been harder or about the same?
We're definitely not getting the same traffic of, we on average would get about 35 to 40 women a month that would stay for our services when they had an abortion scheduled across.
Yeah.
We're definitely not getting all that foot traffic anymore that we used to.
Right.
But God has still redirected the steps of women into our center. We had a lady last month that came all the way 6 hours from up in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the address that a facility in Utah had given her. And so she came to go to the abortion clinic, but it wasn't there anymore. And so she came into First Choice and ended up staying and had the ultrasound, and then went outside and sat in her car with her husband. And a little while later, our operations director went out, and we were getting ready to close for the day. And she went out and said, is there something I can help you guys with? And they said, no, we're just trying to find somewhere else in town that will do this for us. And she herself too was, I think 4.5 months. She was farther along into the pregnancy.
Right.
And so she said that this lady had a couple of children already. And she said, let me give you some diapers for your little one. And the lady was like, no, I don't need them. And she said, just accept the blessing that God's given you. Like, he'll provide for your every need if you trust him. And so she ended up accepting diapers. And then she went home, and 2 weeks later, Eve called and talked to her. And she said that the advocate in the room told her, are you really going to take the life of your innocent child? And God really used those words to just really hit home with her. And she went back to Utah with her husband and ended up telling her family that she was pregnant and that she was contemplating abortion. and her family used the same words as the advocate had used on her.
Wow.
And was really surprised that they didn't want her to abort. And so she said that she had ended up choosing life for her baby.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And she said, "Are you the lady that offered me the diapers out in the driveway?" And Eve said, "Yeah, I am." And so she just recounted that the kindness of Eve towards her when she was still intent on pursuing what they had advised her not to do,
Yeah.
really impacted her in another way, that she was kind towards her despite this choice.
Disagreeing with her. Yeah.
And so she's due to have a baby in 4 months.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What a good story.
So we still have, we had another mom bring her daughter up from Arizona a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So we still get occasional ones. We probably get between maybe 5 to 10 a month. That abortion clinic was there so long and so many years that now you have mothers bringing back their daughters because that's where they went. And so it's kind of a staple for people that are in that vein of where they're used to going. That God has still allowed us to snatch some of those babies from the grips of death.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You mentioned 2 cases where people are coming from out of state, and that's a relatively new thing ever since Dobbs, right? When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, many states are clamping down on abortion and finding ways to keep it from happening legally, so they need to travel. And Las Vegas is now, I guess, an abortion destination.
Yeah, we are an abortion tourism destination for that.
Yeah.
There's an organization here in Nevada that will pay for your child care, your airfare, your abortion, your hotel, your Uber. They'll cover all your expenses for that. And so when the abortion clinic was still open there, we have babies saved in Texas, Florida, Utah, Arizona, California. We've seen women from Tennessee, Oklahoma. You know, one of the abortionists was doing an interview online, and she said, "We see people coming from all over the United States. They come here under the auspices of a great time, and nobody suspects them of having an abortion while they're coming to Vegas." And so they've actually marketed that extra to those that are seeking abortion, and that you can come here. So you come here, an abortion after 3 months generally is anywhere from 1 to 3 days, depending on how far along you are, because they have to prep you in order to take that baby.
Oh, I wondered, because you had mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, so they'll come in on the first day and have the dilation process started, and then they'll go out and party for a few days, and they'll come back on the 3rd day and have the abortion completed, and then they put them on a plane that night and send them home. So it's bringing them here for a good time and a party while they're also murdering their baby. We had a couple that was here in town for the rodeo from Oklahoma and just assumed they would have the abortion while they were here.
Yeah.
And they walked into First Choice 3 months pregnant. And one of the advocates said, "Do you really want to remember every time you go to a rodeo that this is what you did in taking your baby's life?" We never ended up finding out what they ended up decided. They never responded to our phone calls. But we just hope and pray that the seeds that were planted, God used to penetrate the hardness of hearts, and you just never know.
Let's talk about, you've mentioned the advocate a couple of times. They're often volunteers, right? These are women that some have had abortions. They're, without exception, Christians, I assume. And tell me what the process is, and kind of reenact in a way, if you will, what they say to a woman who is seriously contemplating abortion.
Yeah, it just really depends and varies. Several of our advocates are post-abortive. We have a lady who is Quinette King. She's in her 70s. She's retired. And so she said, God told her, "What are you doing in your retirement? 2 days is not enough." So she volunteers with us 3 days a week. And she's post-abortive. And God uses that woman so mightily in the counseling rooms because it's coming from a place of experience and not condemnation. And a lot of these young women don't have motherly people in their lives. And so they just need somebody that can show some love and care and concern and tell them, you know, I've been there. You can get past this. And so it really, so many people have different stories and backgrounds, but we'll go through a counseling session and we really figure out what the triggers and pressures are in their life that are causing them to contemplate abortion. We go through and collect information, if they're in school, where they're living, if they've had any past pregnancies,
Right.
if the person that they're with has past abortions in their background, because some of these guys have a lot of abortions in their background and they just jump around, and that's just something that they end up pushing all of their ladies into. Then we find out if they have any supportive people in their lives, find out if they know what abortion is. A lot of them have no idea what that is. They just know that it's the solution to what they think is their problem.
Right.
Find out if they have any religious background. Encourage them into churches. We give a referral list to different churches in the Valley, and if they're willing to have that conversation about the Lord, then we take that opportunity to share Christ with them.
Right.
Then we have a list of videos that, it's a variety of different videos. So we have like prenatal fetal development. We have one that is a doctor explaining an abortion procedure. We have another video that actually shows an abortion procedure. Another video that has 3 different women who, one shows single parenting, one shows adoption, one shows abortion, and they all share what it was like to make those choices and how they live with that now.
Right.
So we have a variety of videos we offer with a release form. They choose which video they want to watch. We give them the remote and tell them if at any point you don't want to watch it, you're welcome to turn it off. If they're seeking abortion, we definitely encourage them to watch one of those videos. And a lot of times if they are hardcore abortion minded and they do choose to watch one of those videos, God usually uses that video to start softening their heart before they take the next step into the ultrasound. Opens their eyes in a different way. You know, abortion has become such a sterile word that people, I was talking to my pastor about it just 2 years ago. I just had this mind-blowing conversation with somebody who was almost 80. And he said, I didn't know what abortion was until I came and toured at First Choice and talked to you, Deb. And I'm like thinking, really? Like, I said, what did you think it was? And he said, well, I thought it was like a miscarriage. I thought you just passed a dead baby. He said, I didn't know that while the baby was alive, you were tearing the arms and legs off of it. And that really revolutionized my mind and my approach to talking to people, because I was 6 years old in East LA when I saw an aborted baby in a coffin. And so after that, my dad had our family in front of an abortion clinic every weekend sidewalk counseling. That I grew up seeing images of aborted babies all of my life, that I've always assumed people knew what that was. And so
Many don't. Most don't.
And so I really was shocked, and I started polling people. And I'd say probably 90% of Americans have no idea what an abortion looks like.
Right.
And so when we have the opportunity to present that truth to these gals, a lot of times that truth alone stands for itself, and God will use that to kind of start changing their heart and their mind about the ultrasound before they arrive in the ultrasound room.
Right.
If they come in seeking an abortion, or there's any risk to that baby, we make sure that we provide them an ultrasound the same day at the same visit, because here in Nevada, there's no waiting period.
Right.
When I came from the Midwest, you had a 24-hour waiting period. You couldn't just go and make that decision and do that right then. Right before we opened First Choice, I went into the abortion clinic with my sister, because I'd always heard about the whole marketing strategy behind abortion clinics.
Right.
And it was eye-opening to see how they pulled you in. She told my sister, it's nothing more than like going to the dentist. We could do it right now if you haven't eaten anything today. And so that's how simple it is here in Nevada to get an abortion. There's no educational requirement to share the development of the baby with you like it was in the Midwest. There's no other resources they offer you. Or now, for that matter, they're sending you home with abortion pills, and you're sitting in your home, which is then becoming your prison, because you take a pill and then you wait for 48 to 72 hours to take the next pill that then's going to expel your baby at home that you're going to have to face. And so there's no follow-up care from any of these places that are doing this. As far as like emotional, spiritual, physical, it's just kind of, you're on your own. So we're grateful that God's given us the opportunity to speak life into these women. And help put them on a different course, hopefully, than where they would have ended up if they walked into a abortion clinic. I mean, Planned Parenthood has a stat. If you come into them seeking, if you come into them pregnant, 97% of them end in abortion. So we want to be the first ones to reach that woman before she winds up in that place.
Yeah. And we want to do anything that we can to help. And we'll run a commercial, that public service announcement that we've created for First Choice with the phone number and everything to, help that along. Let's talk about how people can help you. Obviously, you need donations. It costs a lot of money to run this center. But aside from that, you need volunteers too, right?
Volunteers, we need prayer warriors. In the last 2 years, the state of Nevada came after us, the medical board.
I remember.
And they really persecuted our doctor. And then this past year, the legislators started trying to outlaw abortion pill reversals. And so there's definitely an enemy that is actively trying to put an end to the effective work that we're doing. Vegas needs more pregnancy centers. The fact that we only have 2 pregnancy centers in town for 2 million people is crazy. When I moved here from Kansas City in 2004, same population size, we had 16 pregnancy centers.
And we need that.
And so we need to have as many centers as we have abortion clinics here in town. So we're working on expansion right now, opening up another location in Las Vegas. And we have a few other things that we're working on. That we're very excited where God is leading us and doors He's opening. And we hope that we can increase the lives saved quicker.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Deborah, we're going to take another brief break. I want to come back, do another segment if that's okay with you, because I have more questions. And I know that people want to help you, and we want to really delve into that. We'll be back with Deborah Costello of First Choice Pregnancy Services right after this.
Before time began, God knew your name, every hair on your head. He knew when you would be born to fulfill His purpose on earth. When the time was right, He perfectly knit the DNA that makes you, you. We believe in the sanctity of life. The word sanctity means holy, godly, because we were made by Him. We are His children, fearfully made, wonderfully made, formed by His hand, made for His plan. A person's a person, no matter how small. Dr. Seuss. Each life is precious. Each life has a purpose. Each life deserves the chance to live.
Well, welcome back. I'm Dale Davidson, your host of Las Vegas Tonight. Deborah Costello is our very special guest. She is the executive director and sort of founder, co-founder,
Something.
yeah, of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
I've been around for a minute since I was a kid.
That's right.
I've grown up since I came around.
That's great, and it's wonderful to see you become such a woman of God and a mom and a homeschool teacher and, you know, a great wife. So thank you for being
I had no
you.
idea what God was going to lead me into when he brought me here.
That's right.
I thought I was coming for 2 years.
That's
Came,
right.
got a family and everything else.
That's right. Las Vegas, you've been good for Las Vegas and vice versa. So thank you for
That is
coming.
good. Thank you.
How many people do you have working at the center?
Well, on staff, we have 14 people. And then we have about 30 volunteers.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you would welcome more volunteers?
Oh, yeah, we need replicators.
Yeah.
We're looking at expansion across the valley. We have a couple of doors that God's opening. We don't know how those doors are going to end up. We're walking through them. We don't know where they're going to take us.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're also looking to expand into a mobile unit.
Okay.
So that we could reach these moms when they call for abortion pill reversals. We can go to them. We
Yeah.
had a young lady in November that reached out that was 23 years old, and she'd taken the abortion pill. And she had 4 children under 4.
Yeah.
And no Uber had 4 car seats for her to get her to us. And so that really kind of opened my eyes to the need of needing to be able to go mobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our society's turning mobile. We're ordering food and groceries and everything.
Yeah.
And so if it requires having a mobile unit to go meet the person where they are, you know, they're ordering these abortion pills online, so they don't even have to go anywhere for them.
Wow.
So
This is really
a mobile unit is important, not only to go meet those women where they are, but go park next to an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
Be their neighbor and give a lady options.
park in front of the college.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty of places you could go.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Bob Anderson recently told me he lives in Cleveland, Ohio, and we've been good friends. In fact, he helped lead me to Christ years ago. He was involved with the ICU people in Ohio, and said he was recently honored. He said, I didn't even realize this, but my wife and I were the first donations to the ICU mobile unit in the country.
Wow.
And he, you know, went back when he was very deeply involved with mobile units, brought one out from Ohio and gave it to the other crisis pregnancy center in town. Yeah. So I'll call him up and see whether he can help you.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's an awesome legacy to be able to be a part of saving lives, not
Yeah.
only for here on earth, but the impact eternally.
Oh yeah, isn't
You know,
that
you don't want to
amazing?
just save that baby and have that baby go to hell. You want to reach that mother as well. And so
Oh yeah.
it's a great opportunity to be able to speak into somebody's life when they're in such a vulnerable state and position.
Yeah, and the advocates and the counselors at your place rely on Jesus when they're talking to people, and I'll bet there have been some conversions have taken place, huh?
Oh yeah, we have there's a couple just from lately, a mom that came in for an abortion. Her baby just turned 1 last fall, and she'd been with the guy just a few months, and so she didn't feel that she necessarily was ready for having a baby, not having a really secure relationship. Well, towards the end of her pregnancy, she married the guy, and they both became Christians in church, and so now they have this little family of 3. She had 2 little girls, and so this baby was a boy. And it's great to hear her story and see her taking her family to church now and then pursuing the Lord together. So you do see those women that come back. I had a lady the other day that I actually hired to come into my house to clean. She had called the center and had told Eve that she was needing some work. And I said, you know, I want to help her because her situation is the 1% of why abortion is always defended rape. She was on a bus line on her way home from work. Her spouse had passed away a couple years prior, and so she'd gone out to work to support her children that were teenagers. And she would get on a bus at 4 a.m. and it would take her 4 hours to make it to the other side of town. And then she would get back on at 6 p.m. at night and take her till 10 p.m. to get off. And one night somebody came in, when she got off the bus, raped her. She has no idea what they look like. She just remembers the smell. And she's my age, 44.
Yeah.
And so she came into First Choice just distraught. She was pregnant. And she has a beautiful little girl now that's about to turn 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, you know what, come on over to my house. I'd love to help you. You help me, I help you. And so I had the opportunity to talk to her for a while, and we had encouraged her to go to a program called Embrace Grace. And it's a 10-week program that shares Christ with you and helps build a little community of other pregnant women with you. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it, they give you a baby shower. And so she went through that, and the lady from Embrace Grace recommended she go to this Christian church. And so she's been going to this Christian church now for the last 10 months, and she was just telling me how different it was from going to Catholic church. That's where she'd always gone. And she said, I'm learning so much about Jesus. And it was just really awesome to see impact and see how, as a result of that horrific event in her life, she's now in a different position of knowing the Lord than what she ever has. And so you see different lives like that God has brought in that have been in despair. I mean, she shows pictures of her baby. Her daughter is almost an adult and just loves the baby to death, has no idea what happened to her mother. Yeah. She doesn't want to tell her kids about it because she doesn't want anybody to look differently at this little girl that she has. And she actually lost her eldest kid over it because he wanted her to abort, not having any idea. And so he hasn't really talked to her because he's upset that she gave life to his sibling. So it's just a very courageous mother. But to sit and talk to her and just kind of watch the joy of the Lord in her as she's talking about, every week I go to church and I learn more about him. There's just a hunger for that. And if it wasn't, if what happened to her didn't happen, she might not know the Lord the way that she does.
Yeah.
And so in all tragedies, horrific events, God is working all things together for his good, and it's nice to be able to see outcomes like that.
We're all supposed to have grace for other people. Let's address that issue. It's a tough one, but it's what people always say. And I'm pro-life. This is kind of the way it goes. I'm pro-life except in the cases of rape and incest. There's been a debate about that for years. Tell me what your stance is personally, and what, if there is an official stance that you guys take on that issue.
God is sovereign in all life that is created. So we take a position of, you defend and protect that baby just as you would any other baby. It's created in the image of its maker. Regardless of who its mom or dad, who its dad is, you're still its mom. And God knew the circumstances surrounding the conception of that baby, and he planted that baby there. When I was about 19 or 20, right before I moved to Vegas, I read a story in Students for Life. This gal was named Elizabeth, and she was a college student. And she said that her mom was gang raped. And her mom told her that by giving birth to her, it gave her something she could love out of something so horrific that happened to her. That was what God used to heal her from the trauma of the gang rape. And I was like, wow, that really helped solidify in my mind that God, that was the antidote to that lady's trauma, was her baby. And so to take that situation into your hands when God created that, never a good choice to make. They did a survey of women who were raped. 90% of the women who were raped and had an abortion regretted it. Whereas all of the women that were raped and had those babies, none of them had the regret in having those babies. And so to be violated and victimized by something so horrific as a rape, and then to have to carry that and that you wronged somebody further by taking life just compounds a difficult situation. So we encourage them to place that baby for adoption if they don't feel that they can keep that baby, but to keep that baby and give it the opportunity that God intended for it to have.
That's nice. And adoption is a very real option that often gets overlooked, because there are millions of parents that would love to have a baby.
It is, but it's such a hard option to get anybody to consider anymore.
Yeah.
You know, abortion's become such a mainstreamed idea for people that it's, why would I stay pregnant and let people see all that and be ostracized for it? Why not just have an abortion and nobody knows? We had a lady that chose adoption 2 years ago. She had a 17-year-old and a 9-year-old, and she just said, I'm not going to be able to give my child the life that I want it to have, my other children, if I have another child. And so she ended up choosing adoption, and as she started getting bigger into her pregnancy, she would tell her family members that she was placing for adoption, and people would ostracize her for it. And she already kind of felt bad about it. So she started telling people she was a surrogate mother, and then she became a hero. And I'm like, what a poor reflection. That's the reflection of our society.
That's society today.
It's not honorable to choose life for your baby if you're choosing adoption, but it's honorable for you to be a surrogate. And so, you know, when you think about it, you don't really, I mean, I've run into it because of working at First Choice, but you don't really run into a lot of people out in society that you see pregnant that say, I'm choosing adoption. You just don't hear about it a lot. It's not something that's really marketed. And I wish the adoption agencies did a better job, and it's such a positive thing. You're giving life, you're giving a family an opportunity at a family that otherwise wouldn't. It's an empowering choice that just a lot of people don't know about, and they think of the foster care system when they think of adoption, and it's
not like
different.
It's not like that at all. Wow. Deborah, it's hard to believe, but an hour has raced by. Wow. We're almost done. I want to ask you a favor, and I mentioned it to you briefly. That's your camera right over there. You have made a compelling case for women to keep their babies. Say whatever you want to say directly to the audience, especially about why it's important to have Jesus in their lives, and whatever the Holy Spirit puts on your heart.
Well, I'd say for any woman who is watching this, or man who might be post-abortive that has that in their history, there's no condemnation in Christ Jesus for those who know him. So if that's something you're struggling with, that you've experienced, I'd encourage you not to stay in the confines and shackles of that shame and humiliation, and get involved in a post-abortive Bible study to heal, where you could experience the liberation and healing of Jesus, and use your past, find purpose in it to further the lives of those who are coming behind you that are in jeopardy of losing their lives, and let that be your redemptive story. Call First Choice. We're happy to talk. We're happy to have you come volunteer. We're happy to have you pray for us. We're happy for you to get involved with us in any way you can. Champion the cause of life. Be educated and know what abortion is and how that is impacting those around you. And just call us.
Thank you. God bless you. And thanks
you
for this wonderful work that you do.
Thank you for having me, Dale.
You bet. And we want to encourage everybody to get in touch with First Choice. The phone number's been up throughout, and we hope that you'll connect on the basis of helping out, sending big fat checks, volunteering in some way, or passing along the information to a woman who might be considering abortion. And so we so appreciate having her here, not only on the show, but doing God's work at First Choice. We have plenty more coming, and I want you to stick around. We're going to be showing a little bit about First Choice again, and there'll be some music even later. So please stick around. We'll be right back after this.
Before time began, God knew your name, every hair on your head. He knew when you would be born to fulfill His purpose on earth. When the time was right, He perfectly knit the DNA that makes you, you. We believe in the sanctity of life. The word sanctity means holy, godly, because we were made by Him. We are His children, fearfully made, wonderfully made, formed by His hand, made for His plan. A person's a person, no matter how small. Dr. Seuss. Each life is precious. Each life has a purpose. Each life deserves the chance to live.
Some mornings I get up, dark clouds are in the sky. All day the sun fails to shine. Then I think of that morning when I wake up over there in the land where no dark clouds rise. There won't be no need of the moon, no need of the sun. There'll never be no night. Heaven's gonna shine and a mansion will be mine. Jesus will be the light. Some mornings I get up and trouble's at the door. That trouble hides the light of day. Then I think of that morning when I wake up over there in the land where troubles roll away. There won't be no need of the moon, no need of the sun. There'll never be no night. Heaven's gonna shine and a mansion will be mine. Jesus will be the light. Some morning I'll get up in that land so bright and fair. The streets of gold are gonna shine, but the reason they'll be shining and heaven will be fair is that Jesus will be the light. There won't be no need of the moon, no need of the sun. There'll never be no night. Heaven's gonna shine and a mansion will be mine. Jesus will be the light. There won't be no need of the moon, no need of the sun. There'll never be no night. Heaven's gonna shine and a mansion will be mine. Jesus will be the light.
Alpha and Omega. You have no beginning, you have no end. Before the foundation of the world, you chose me, adopted as your child through your Son, Jesus Christ. I deserved death, yet you showed me grace. I deserve your wrath, yet you demonstrate love. My God, this whole world may fail, but you remain the same. The love of an everlasting God is my firm foundation. Whom shall I fear? Everything here on earth will fade away, but your promises will never. The love of an everlasting God is my hope. No one can take it away. I am yours, my Lord. You chose me, my everlasting God.
The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight with your host, Dale Davidson. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of our show. We so appreciate your loyalty to our program. To keep Las Vegas Tonight on the air, please go to our website, vegassaints.org, and click the Donate button. To send a check or money order, please make it out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries and mail it to 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. To suggest a guest to appear on the show or any other suggestions or questions, write to Dale at dalewdavidson@yahoo.com or call him at 702-480-3989.
Shine, Las Vegas, shine your